Get in our special guest on the show today. We've got Manisha Girotra, the MD of UBS India, who's here to talk to us about the markets and more. Manisha, thanks a lot for joining in on Buy Now, Sell Now. How is India shaping up in terms of growth versus the recovery that we're seeing across developed markets, according to you?
I think India is a very compelling story at this time. The growth rates that you're seeing in India, you're just not seeing anywhere in the world. And that's reflected in the capital market flows that you're seeing into India. You're seeing very strong capital market flows, not just from investors who have already invested in India, but new investors. A lot of new global investors or a lot of funds of the existing investors which didn't invest in India are coming in because, you know, you just don't see the kind of growth. So I think the domestic economy has come together so beautifully that it's really reaping its dividends. As far as the world is concerned, I think it still remains precariously balanced, and you know the verdict is not yet out whether it's a W-shaped recovery, whether things are going to be a bit slower, how the US and Europe are going to recover. So I think generally the world is you know in a cautious environment, and of course India does get affected by that. You know, there's no doubt about that. But I think at the moment India is just benefiting from all of it, and you know we're really standing out as far as I see it, whether it's from institutional investors or strategic investors. There's an enormous appetite for India. At the moment, there's a debate on whether India is overvalued in terms of multiples. We are at as a market, we are at about 17 times compared to emerging markets average of about 8 to 9 or 10. So we are clearly looking expensive. But I think it's the way that everyone's justifying it, and the way that we like to demonstrate it to our investors is by demonstrating it on a peg basis. The growth levels are so compelling, and that's why you've seen that the multiple differentiation between large caps and mid caps has narrowed in the last 6-8 months. Because mid-caps, the kind of growth they are showing, the financial sector, the growth it's showing, microfinance companies, gold finance companies, you can see it across the segment. And that's really what is driving the capital inflows. We're already at about $11 billion this year. And still going, and that's really because investors are just can't see this kind of growth anywhere else in this market. I think the concern really is that the growth must sustain itself. It shouldn't be a two-quarter wonder. And when I speak to our corporate clients, it doesn't seem to be a two-quarter wonder. In fact, it just seems to be the beginning. The kind of aggressive expansion plan people have in place, the kind of markets they're penetrating, the way the rural market is coming together beautifully, the way the mid segment in the urban market is coming together, I think you see positive trends. But yes, we must see this demonstrated over the next 8 to 10 quarters for everyone to believe that this story is here to stay. I think basically if you on the investment banking side, you can split it into two. One is the capital market side and one is the M&A. On the capital market side, last year was basically about deleveraging balance sheets, but this year is about raising growth capital, and that bit continues. You know, I think we've already raised about $14-15 billion. The government's disinvestment programs kicked in. You should see about $10-11 billion raised in that itself in the next 6-7 months, and you know that doesn't seem to be having an overhang on the market. So the capital markets business is coming along very beautifully. M&A side, I think in the last M&A drive you saw it was more in the US and Europe, and that was more for markets and technology. But I think you're seeing a different trend now where it's moved into emerging markets. So it's a bit of both. So I think in Indian balance sheets are deleveraged and capital is available, and you know the appetite, as you know, is very strong. So we have a strong dialogue across sectors. So you pick the sectors, it's oil and gas, it's FMCG, pharma, you'll continue to see inbound, I think, consolidation. But oil and gas remains a sector where you'll really continue to see activity. IT services a bit. BPO, I think, will see consolidation, whether it's domestically or cross-border. But yeah, it seems to be, I don't see it in today's environment seeing very sector-specific. It's a cross-sector. Commodities, again, is a sector where we are talking to corporates about looking at acquisition. So it seems to be across sectors. Yeah, I think, look, shale gas as a sector, or you know all the merits. You know, there is huge upside in making acquisitions there. And the way it works is it works in a pretty elegant joint venture where your upfront commitments are not that high, and your commitments are linked to various deliverables. So in a way, it's a much more cautious way of doing these acquisitions, which in this sector especially is a good place to be.